Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Trustees regular board meeting. Today's Monday, July 22nd, 2024, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 5:30 p.m. Roll call. Dr. Ira Cruz. Rudy Corona.
Present.
Frutoso Gomez. Chris Hernandez.
Present.
Alex Reina.
Present.
Israel Varela III.
Present.
Alfredo Perez.
Present.
And Tony Torres. Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 1.2 and 1.3. 1.2 is the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flag, and 1.3 invocation. I'll pass it over to Mr. Rudy Corona. Oh, Mr. Varela? Okay.
Good evening. For today's invocation, we have Ms. Raylene Garcia. Raylene Garcia is a 12th grader at San Benito High School. She is the daughter of Veronica Trevino and Eddie Garcia. Raylene is the San Benito High School cheer captain and a 4-time varsity basketball member. Her accomplishments include 2-time cheer captain, 2-time Universal Cheerleaders Association All-American, UCA staff invitee, 2-time basketball by district champion, 2-time Family Career and Community Leaders of America state qualifier. Raylene is also a cotillion, debutante legacy, National Honor Society treasurer, National Technical Honor Society historian, FCCLA vice president of competitive events. She also served as sophomore class vice president, junior class vice president of projects. Her hobbies are competitive cheerleading and playing pickleball to stay active. She is an avid animal lover, pet sitter, and her favorite subject is cosmetology. Raylene is a student of the San Benito High School under the principal of Ms. Manuela Lopez. Both of them? Yes. For our Pledge of Allegiance tonight, we have Ms. Jordan Garza. Jordan Garza is an 11th grade student, also under the principalship of Ms. Manuela Lopez at San Benito High School. She is the daughter of Mr. David Garza and Miss Lindsay Weaver. Jordan serves as the colonel of the Pride of San Benito, the San Benito High School Bells. Leading this team, which she has been dedicated to for the past 2 years, is a role that Jordan deeply cherishes. It should be noted that she transferred from a neighboring school district during her 8th grade year to fulfill her aspiration of dancing with the Bells. In addition to her role with the Bells, Jordan is also a member of the Lady Hounds powerlifting team, where she advanced to the regional powerlifting meet last school year. She also has recently been selected as a debutante with the Lower Valley Cotillion Club. Outside of school, Jordan actively participates in church and fulfillment in helping others. Come out this football season and watch Jordan lead her team under those Friday night lights, and watch as the Bells celebrate 50 years of sisterhood.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good evening, esteemed members of the school board, Mr. Board President, our superintendent of schools, administrators, our amazing teachers present, and our community members. Let us pray. As we gather here today, may we ignite our spirits and minds with cheer for progress and unity. Let us uphold our commitment to excellence and fairness in all decisions made. Together, let us celebrate our achievements and embrace the challenges that lie ahead with determination and resilience. Here's to a successful meeting where our collective efforts pave the way for a brighter future for all. Amen.
Amen. Will the parents please stand up to be recognized?
Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 2, special recognitions, 2.1, the TASB Energy Cooperative check presentation. Mr. Bettis?
Yes, I believe we have TASB's representative here to give us a check.
Yes, good evening, members of the board. My name is Melissa Rodriguez, and I'm with TASB. I'd like to thank you all for allowing me a few minutes of your time. The TASB Energy Co-op has worked very hard to continually improve the services that we provide to the members. Our organization has created operational efficiencies over the past few years, and as a result, we're pleased to announce that this has resulted in excess revenue that will be going right back to our members in the form of a one-time disbursement. I'd like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation for your ongoing support and involvement in the TASB Energy Co-op. And so at this time, I'm pleased to present your district with this check in the amount of $8,735. So thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. And if I can bother y'all for a quick photo cue.
Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item number 3, public comment. Ms. Hernandez?
The next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public according to the following. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Anyone who would like to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the topic they want to discuss. An individual's public comments to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. In addition, the participating individual shall adhere to the following. State their full name and what organization or group, if any, is being represented. Indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. Shall refrain from commenting directly on any individual employee or public official by name, but may refer to a specific employment area, job title, or the board as a whole, and shall refrain from attacks on individuals. Lastly, if after at least one warning from the presiding officer, any individual continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request assistance from law enforcement officials to have the individual removed from the meeting. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process. District policy DGBA has been established for addressing employee complaints. Policy FNG is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and Policy GF addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or at the district central administration offices. Thank you. Our first speaker is Mr. Mike Travis.
Thank you, one and all. Is there a timer where I can watch to see myself, or just you cut me off at the?
I can give you the 1-minute warning, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, first and foremost, Mike Travis, 1695 Russell Lane, in the super fantabulous city of San Benito, where I have resided continuously since 1989, after arriving here in 1988 for a teaching job, which leads me to who is Mike Travis? Mike Travis is a retired state of Texas secondary teacher with 32 years of experience, certified in the following areas: German with a lifetime certificate, Spanish with a lifetime certificate, composite social studies, which comprise of history, geography, government, and economics. So I just offer that not to esteem myself more highly than I should, but just who is this guy, Mike Travis? Okay, so the next thing I would like to do is I have a packet. May I have permission to pass the packet? Okay, unfortunately, I only have 10 because I didn't know. So who are the 10? And the next thing I want to say here is please don't misconstrue me. Nothing about what I'm going to talk about here is intended to be adversarial or criticism. I just intend it to be objective observations as a classroom teacher with 32 years of experience and currently retired, so I am free from the restrictions of criticizing. Was that the 1 minute? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so if I could direct your attention to this little packet I passed you out. Okay, this is Professor Thomas Sowell. If you're not familiar with him, I highly recommend him. And the final page, I would like to draw your attention that this page right here is the back cover of this book right here that he published in 1993. And if I may, I would like to read some of the stuff here. It says, from the book, From Inside American Education, they have taken our money, betrayed our trust. Okay, I'm not saying here, I'm not saying the current, I'm not saying it at all. I'm just saying in general, because I saw this evolve from 1988 until I retired in 2019. I was in Harlingen. I saw this. This is firsthand. Failed our children and then lied about the failures with inflated grades and pretty words. Okay, I'm not going to mince words. The STAR test, I'm familiar with all of them, all the way back to TAWS. It doesn't measure anything. It's a waste of money. I read that the state of Texas entered into agreement with Pearson and the other one, I can't remember the name, forgive me, for almost $400,000 for the next 4 years for testing. I'm an advocate that the Department of Education should be abolished, and whatever they do, the funding that they receive and stuff should be sent directly to the school districts with their what they receive in revenues.
Mr. Travis, you do have 1 minute.
Thank you. Okay. Schools, the first and foremost is safety, in my humble opinion, and I always looked out for that. That's why I broke up fights. I don't want to say where I was back in the day when I was in Vinegar and they allowed that kind of stuff to go on. But it's also got to have discipline. There got to be consequences. There got to be, this is the expected behavior. It got to be consequences. And if that doesn't jive, then it's not going to work. And all third graders should be reading by the end of third grade, in my humble opinion, at grade level. And if they're not, we should focus our attention to giving them the resources and stuff, hit them when they're young, figure it out. So by the time they go to fourth grade, they're reading a grade level, and we can avoid a lot of the things that we're dealing with. And the COVID, I understand it. COVID set us all back, but together we can overcome this.
That's 5 minutes, Mr. Travis.
Thank you very much for taking
Thank you,
time to
sir.
listen to me.
Thank you, Mr. Travis. Our next public comment is Ms. Mary Maney.
Good evening, Mr. Superintendent, Board President, trustees, and our community and staff here. I want to say thank you. Congratulations also for all the people that got the new sets, the new seats. We're getting into a new year. Hopefully, we're going to have a much even better year than we had last year. So, the cooperation and the pulling together as a board is going to be very important to what we're doing. So I'm hoping we've got a good arrangement and everything goes in. One of the things that I did want to question on, your agenda has a compensation plan on it. And I did talk to HR, so I have a little bit of an idea behind it. But as a, having been on the SAC committee and that, I have people that contact me about things that show up on the agenda. And there were quite a few people expressing concerns about the reduction in the dual enrollment stipend as into whether or not it would be worth it to actually teach dual enrollment for the upcoming year. So just something to keep in mind when you are looking at that. And it is understandable. The explanation I got was fairly clear on what it was, but most of your teachers are not going to have any idea of it. And since they couldn't have heard the committee responses and questions that were done on that, there is going to be some confusion and questions on that, just a heads up. It has been a wonderful summer. I know that I've been very busy, and I have great appreciation for the staff members who are putting in those 10-hour days, 4 days a week, all summer to make it possible to get started in on this year. I know I've been out on conferences, and I've had to call back a couple of times, and just being able to get to various people, getting directed where you are. We've got a fabulous staff. Let's not forget them. Our maintenance, our custodians, our security, not just the teachers, but let's not just forget about the staff too. So again, congratulations on being the new board for 24-25, and I'm hoping we have an even better year than we did last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Maney.
Thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to agenda item number 4, Board President's remarks. At this time, I want to just take a brief moment to to once again, thank everybody that participated in the survey to help the board select our new leader, which is Mr. Perez, and we're extremely excited about that. But I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time, our community and our staff that took the time to give us their opinions on what they felt the leader to take our district in moving in the positive direction. So I want to first and foremost thank you for that. And once again, staff, I know it's a very stressful time in our community as well when you're going through stuff like this, but I just want you guys to know that this process was a very transparent process, and every single one of these board members had a say, and just reassure that this district is going in the positive direction. And thanks to each and every one of y'all and the parents' input as well. So I want to take this opportunity to first and foremost thank the board. They did a tremendous job, and I'm very happy and proud of each and every one of you all for taking the time for all that, and also our staff. So I just want to thank you all, and God bless you all this year, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. All right? Thank you. Let's move on to agenda number 5, Acting Superintendent remarks. Mr. Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Real quick, I do want to thank the board for having the confidence in me to move this district forward. I talked to all of our administration today, and I'm very excited to continue to be able to work with everybody. I think we've got momentum going, and I look forward to a great year. With that said, I do want to welcome back all of our administrators. Everybody is back today. They were very excited with happy smiles in the morning to come back to a 10-hour day, but no, Welcome back. I hope everybody had a very restful break. Even though I know most of you were on your campuses when you were supposed to be at home, but, welcome back. To the public, I do want to say that very soon, tomorrow evening, we'll be sending out a survey, so the district will be starting their 5-year strategic plan. And again, we want public input. We want to bring in as many voices to make this plan, come to fruition. So, it's like I told the board and like I told the administrators, without a plan, we have no goal to shoot for. We want to make sure this goal is there. We want to make sure our goals are attainable, lofty, and that we're, doing checks. So we're going to start our 5-year strategic plan. But other than that, welcome back, everybody, and thank you for having me here.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on to agenda item number 6, reports, the academic health report.
Yes, we have a presentation by Ms. Cornett on, I believe, advanced academics and CCMR.
Good evening. In alignment with our goal to ensure 100% of our graduating seniors are CCMR ready, a team came together and worked collaboratively to create a resource. We want to make sure that we have clear awareness for our students, our parents, and our community of not only what our district has to offer, but also the options that students have. I'd like to, if you indulge me, recognize the team. Ms. Sandra Domeros, our Director for Counseling and Advanced Academics. Mr. Alex Salinas, our Higher Ed Coordinator. Ms. Irma Perez, Gear Up CCMR Coordinator. Ms. Joanne Fernandez, Director for Secondary Education. Mr. Fernando Rosa, CTE Director. And Mr. Eduardo Farias, who's our Instructional Technologist. And so what you have before you is a resource, and it has our commitments. We're going to start in elementary to make sure that we're increasing awareness and the activities that will be taking place to ensure that parents and students know what is available to them. You'll go on and see the same thing for middle school and for high school, and as we go up, the information just becomes much more robust. You will also find at every grade level, you'll see checklists, both for students and for parents, so parents know what to be asking their children while they're at home. As you move forward, you'll see information on AP Scholars and dual credit. What's the difference of each? And then you'll also see course sequence for dual credit, so you can have a student, if you're striving to have your child graduate with their associate's degree. Next, you'll see course selections for all of our different programs of study. So if we have a student, they're able to kind of go through this with their parents and see what options are available to them and what courses they'll be taking. We also see information on military readiness. What do we have available? What resources are available to them? And at the very end, you'll see all of the contact information for our counselors, our directors, the resources that I have available to you so that you can contact us if you have any questions. Again, this is just a resource. A lot of this information is available, but in different locations. We wanted to have one location where we have everything available, where you could get a comprehensive look of what our district has to offer and your options. Once we get this proofed and completed, it gives you, see it's in draft form, we will have all of this translated and available in Spanish. Then Ms. Romeros will be going over this with all district counselors, and the counselors will be turning this around at every campus so every staff member knows what we have available. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Sorry, will this be available to parents via the website?
Yes,
Are they getting
ma'am.
a hard copy?
We are going to have some hard copies available at every campus, and then we will have this available digitally as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, let's move on to agenda item number 7, consent agenda under academic services. 7.1, request approval of memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and the Children Advocacy Centers of Cameron County, Willacy Counties for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.2, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and the ACE after-school program and the Girl Scouts of the Greater South Texas for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. Request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD, the ACE after-school program, and Texas A&M Ag Life Extension Agreement for 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.4, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD, the ACE after-school program, and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV School of Social Work for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. At 7.5, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Cameron County Juvenile Justice Alternative Education Center, JJEP, for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.6, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Serving Children and Adults in Need, Incorporated, or SCAN Incorporated, 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.7, request approval of memorandum of understanding for AmeriCorps interlocal agreement between San Benito CISD and the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV, for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.8, request approval of the elementary grading policy for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.9, request approval of the secondary grading policy for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 7.10, request approval of the student code of conduct for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. Question? Let's move on to agenda item number 8, consent agenda of the business and finance. 8.1, request approval of the cash report for June 2024. Question? Consent. 8.2, request approval of the compensation of revenue and expenditure for the budget for June 2024. Question? Consent. 8.3, request approval of the tax collection report for June 2024. Question? Consent. 8.4, request approval of the check disbursement reports for June 2024. Question? Consent. 8.5, request approval for the budget amendments. Question? Consent. 8.6, request approval of the purchase over $50,000. Question? Consent. 8.7, request approval for the quarterly investment report. Question? Consent. 8.8, request approval of the annual investment report. Question? Consent. 8.9, request approval of the quarterly federal funds comparison report. Question? Consent. 8.10, request approval of the broker/dealer for San Benito CISD investment portfolios. Question? Consent. 8.11, request approval of the resolution approving independent sources for investment training and designation of investment officers. Question? Consent. 8.12, request approval of the resolution approving an annual review of the investment strategies and investment policies. Question? Consent. 8.13, request approval of an option to extend the contract RFP-062 AIPM awards, incentives, and printing material. Question? Consent. Okay, let's move on to number 9, consent agenda under administration. 9.1, request approval of the revision of the organizational chart. Question? Consent. 9.2, request approval of the revisions of the 24-25 compensation plan. Okay. 9.3, request approval of the 24-25 holiday calendar for 260-plus employees. Question? Consent. 9.4, request approval of the educational program affiliation agreement between San Benito CISD and University of Texas Rio Grande Valley for 2024 through 2027 school year. Question? Consent. 9.5, request approval for the 24-25 San Benito CISD employee handbook. Question? Consent. 9.6, request approval of the policy update 123. Question? Consent. 9.7, request approval of the stop loss renewal for the 24-25 school year. Question? Consent. 9.8, request approval of the revision of the board operating procedures. Question? Consent. Okay, at this moment, I'll entertain a motion to approve from 7.1 through 9.8 for the exception of 7.10 and 9.2. I got a motion by Mr. Corona. Can I have a second? I got a second by Alex Zena. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, let's go on to 7.10. Mr. Reyna?
Yes, Mr. Perez. My question is, now with all these administrators changes. When was the last time the student code of conduct was revised? Because I know now we have Mr. Eddie Sudis in charge of student services. When was the last time it was revised by Mr. Eddie Sudis?
I believe that the last time it was approved was last year, because we approve it every year. It wasn't either Ms. Fernandez or Mr. Edie who did it previously, but I do know that Ms. Fernandez continued to work on the student code of conduct, and I did involve Mr. Edie. I would let Ms. Fernandez.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent Perez. The Student Code of Conduct, we met with a campus district committee, which was the principals, and we reviewed the Student Code of Conduct, and adjustments were made. We did have the information, I believe it went to the committee hearing, so there were just a few adjustments that were made to the Code of Conduct. It was very minimal. And it was reviewed. So it hasn't been updated since last year, but those changes that were made, it was done at the end of this past school year.
Yeah, my question was to Mr. Eddie Sudis.
Oh, I apologize, sir.
I'm sorry, the chance to revise or review the student code of conduct.
Have I had a chance to do
Yes.
that? Well, I spent the last 10 days positive for COVID, I was telling Mr. Lopez. And so no. I did cough on as many people as I could, but I'm negative. But apparently there's a resurgence. So anyway, my colleagues were very kind, even though I was aware of a meeting for dress code. I offered to Zoom in or phone call, but they were very kind to kind of let me just kind of cough a lung out and that sort of thing. And so today was my first day back. Now, in speaking with Ms. Fernandez just a little while ago, you know, I also had some of those questions because under Chapter 37, that's one of the things that's required for us to have. And so Mr. Perez a couple of weeks ago did tell me, you know, get ready to put together a committee. Now, in all fairness, our administrators, their first day was today. So they were so happy about being back that I didn't want to break the bad news, that I wanted to see if they would get together as a committee just to make sure that, you know, we were squared away with what we needed to be done. The only thing that I was going to ask Ms. Fernandez about was the minimal changes that were made. What were those? Because right now I believe that the old student code of conduct is what reflects on the website. So eventually that will change. So in a long-about way, I guess yes and no, because of the transition that we're going through. But my plans are this month to get a committee together. It may be redundant. I'm not sure when the committee met.
We met in May.
Okay, and just, you know, present any other changes perhaps at an upcoming board meeting, but we do have something that's in place to begin the school year. Okay? Yes, thank you all.
And that's what we wanted to do, was have something in place before the students. You know, it is a time of transition, so Ms. Fernandez's job was up until June 30th, so that's why we're presenting her work for now.
Yeah, and that was one of my, you know, concerns, that the transition right now, and I know the parents are going to be straight to Mr. Eddie Sudis now. Yes, you're going to have to deal with, you know, with all the complaints, and I just want to make sure that we're up to date in both.
Well, and let me also just mention for you all to know, last year there were 120 cases that went through Ms. Fernandez's office. I have two goals this year. One goal is to reduce that by 50%. That can be done working with the individual campuses and talking about things like verbal judo, which is a technique to descale situations. Number two, second goal is that 100% of all issues get resolved at my level. So hopefully you all.
Oh, we're not going to see any parents here.
You're not going to see any parents. Well, you are.
Okay.
For all the good stuff.
There you go.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need a motion to approve. I got a motion by Mr. Reyna. I got a second by Alex. All in favor? Raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you.
Aye.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Frutoso.
You.
So, how you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, now Ms. Crystal, 9.2. Revision of the compensation plan. You had a question, ma'am?
we're going to talk about it
Yes.
in executive session.
Yes, I'll entertain a motion to take it to executive session. Have a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I got a motion by Ms. Crystal. Can I have a second? Second by Rudy Colon. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, thank you. Okay, move on to action agenda. A 10-point discussion, possible action memorandum of understanding between San Benito ISD and neighbors in need of services, Niños Head Start, Early Head Start, and Early Head Start program for 24-25 school year, sir.
So we received our MOU with Niños. We've been with them for many, many years. But we received it after the committee meeting, so we wanted to bring it for action agenda so we can have it ready also for day one of school. So I have Ms. Cornett with some information.
So we are continuing with our partnership with Niños Head Start. This year, we are including a Head Start class at La Paloma. So we're increasing our partnership.
Can I have a motion? I got a motion by Ms. Hernandez. Can I have a second? Second by Rudy Colon. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
In accordance with Texas Government Code, Open Meetings Act, the board may move into closed session for the following reasons. Section 551.071, for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney or any other on any, all, or all subjects or matters authorized by law. Section 551.074, for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, resignation, duties, discipline, or dismissal of public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. Section 55.10.82, certain school board deliberations. This time, at 6:09, we'll go into executive session. Compensation plan. Do I have a motion? Mr. Reyna, second. Second. Ms. Crystal, all in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Moving to item 11.1, employment, resignation, retirements, and terminations. Mr. Pettis.
Yes, I ask for a motion to approve the employment resignations, retirements, and terminations as discussed in executive session.
Do you have a motion?
Second.
Ms. Hernandez, and then Mr. Reyna, second. All in favor? Ms. Cruz also. Thank you. Okay. At this time, 13.1, adjournment of meeting. A motion? Ms. Hernandez? Mr. Reyna, second. All in favor? Thank you. Meeting ends at 7:34 p.m. Thank you.